Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to discuss how to manage neurotic people. No. This is another question from a listener. Again, thank you guys for these. If you have a question for me, animusempire.com. This listener in particular is dating a young woman whose mother has been recently diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Not a good diagnosis. The prognosis on that diagnosis, not good. I think it depends at what stage you catch it, but usually it's terminal, a death sentence. And everybody in the family, everybody in the girlfriend, or I don't think this girl is really his girlfriend, and that's going to be part of the answer here. I don't think this girl is really his girlfriend, or he doesn't make it explicit, simply a girl who he's dating. And the family's becoming a wreck. So what do you do here? How do you handle this situation? How to handle a situation where, yeah, sure, you get bad news and people can tend to act neurotic, but the way that he says it, people are isolating, they're lashing out at each other. How do you handle this kind of situation? Well, I think there's a few things to keep in mind here. The first is, this may be obvious, but I guess I need to say it. You are not responsible for other people's feelings, for other people's emotions. You are not responsible for managing other people, for corralling them emotionally. I don't know if that's exactly what this listener is trying to do, but that's what I infer based on the question. How do I handle this situation? I mean, just the inference of that question is you're trying to manage people, you're trying to make good, you're trying to come in and kind of corral, maybe be kind of an emotional leader, which there's no way you're going to be, since she's not even your girlfriend, I don't think, and you're not really part of the family. That's the thing we miss about responsibility. Everybody tells you, oh, you got to be responsible for yourself, got to take responsibility for your emotions. I mean, at least your actions. If anybody talks about their emotions in the healthy way, they say, yeah, take responsibility. It's okay to have emotions, but you got to take responsibility for them, even if your mother is diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. But what we miss about responsibility is there's no way we're going to have the energy. There's no way we're going to be able to manage ourselves, our actions, our own emotions, our own decisions, if we're too busy trying to manage others. It simply doesn't work. I mean, how often in the past 60 years, since Barry Goldwater's Conscience of a Conservative, or really back in the self-help movement in the early 20th century, how often have we heard to take responsibility for ourselves? All the freaking time. But why are people have a difficult time doing it? Well, because they're too distracted with other things. And one of these things that we get distracted by is, well, I want to make that person feel a certain way to make myself feel a certain way, right? I'm going to manage that person because I'm uncomfortable in this situation. So really what I'm doing is I'm managing myself. Okay, well, it's going to be very difficult, nay, impossible, to manage yourself, to really take responsibility for your own decisions if that's what you're doing. The other point I want you to keep in mind here is, why are you deeply affected? You seem to be troubled by this, and I get it. This woman has a death sentence here, and it's right to have emotions. I think it's proper to have certain emotions with this situation, like sadness and, oh geez, I just want to make things right. But if you are in any way deeply affected or losing sleep over this, or losing sleep over how this girl you're dating's family is acting, then I would submit to you that maybe the issue here is you have a weak boundary, that you are affected by these people. So in this case, the solution is, well, doesn't you don't have to manage other people. You need to manage yourself. If you're that affected to the point where, again, an inference here that I may be incorrect, but the point where you need to ask me a question about it, then I think you have a boundary issue that you need to work on. You are not validating yourself. You are not asserting your anger in a healthy way. You are not confronting your anxiety, confronting threats in reality in a healthy, meticulous way. So you have a weak boundary as the result of that. And so because of that weak boundary, you're affected by things, you're affected by people's emotions, and you think the solution is, I need to figure out this situation out there, when really the situation you need to figure out is within. And you may read this as you're being unfeeling by having a strong boundary. It's not being unfeeling, it's actually being true, feeling really what's going on, not trying to get validation or give validation to anybody else, but really having a healthy connection, what's going on. And I think this may be, if you are just dating this girl, even if she's your girlfriend, I think this is a good glimpse into how she's going to be later on in a relationship. And you say, well, her mom is diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. That's unfair. How can you really judge a person in such a tense situation? And my response would be, how could you not? You think this situation is making your girlfriend or her family act crazy? No, they're this crazy. And the situation is exposing them for what they are. Again, it's proper and healthy, of course, to be sad and feel grief and go through all the stages, which aren't really true, but whatever, to go through some stages of grief. It's healthy to do all that. But if there's isolation, if there's neurotic behavior, if there's lashing out, I'm not saying to break up with her. Well, okay, if it was me, I wouldn't break up with her if there were those behaviors in her or her family. But after the fact, if there was no apology, if there was no acknowledgement of reality of, yeah, I didn't act the best in that situation and my mom dying is no excuse. I really need to manage my emotions better. Sorry, I kind of tried to rope you into this. If there wasn't some acknowledgement of reality, for me, that would be game over. The big picture here is, how do you handle neurotic people? How do you handle emotionally difficult situations that you think are going on outside of yourself? The way to handle them is to handle yourself. It's about your issues. It's about your boundary. It's about, man, I really feel pulled into this situation. My girlfriend's dad, I really feel like I need to comfort him, and I'm actually going to put my life on the back burner for a little bit because I need to go in there. Again, I don't know if this is what the listener is doing, but if these thoughts are coming up and you feel like you have to take care of people and their emotions, that is a sign you need to take care of yourself and your own emotions. Strengthen your boundary by managing your emotions, how we discuss here, and the rest will take care of itself. And I will leave it there. Thank you guys again. If you have any questions, any direction in how to manage your emotions, this is what we do here at Animus. We take all the guesswork out. We will show you exactly what you need to talk about, exactly how to talk about it, exactly what the outcome of proper therapy ultimately needs to be, not based on my opinion, but based on what the nature of human psychology must be if we are to have a psychology worth writing and talking about. This is what we do here at Animus. We do free consultations, animusempire.com/schedule. Thank you guys. And remember, when it comes to managing difficult people, the first question we need to ask is, how do we manage ourselves?